Hello, everyone. It's so good to be here to see everyone in Texas. I hope everyone has had their fair share of barbecue. I know me and Whitney have. Today, we're going to talk about the evolution of payments. Specifically, we're going to dive into how unified commerce is shaping the payment ecosystem. Before we get started, a quick intro. My name is Johnny, and I am part of our technology compliance team at Stripe. I manage and lead our PCI program encompassing DSS, 3DS, P2PE, and PIN. Prior to that, I worked as an ISA and a former external assessor. Whitney?
Hello, everyone. My name is Whitney. I have over 10 years of experience in payments, and I lead Stripe's global L1 through L3 EMV certifications to support our global expansion. Stripe is a payment facilitator that enables businesses to accept online and in-person payments. We provide tools that make it easy for users to take online payments and also provide a number of PCI-compliant POS devices to make payments accessible and easy to implement.
We're going to talk about payments over the years. When we look at how we pay, we've come a long way. Originally, payments were done with physical payment instruments. We were using cash. We were using gold. We were using coins. When you purchase something at a market or store, you hand over some bills to cover the cost for another physical good. Authentication in this case, there was very little concern for identity verification. The focus was solely on the exchange of one physical good for another physical good. Then we saw the revolution with credit cards and debit cards. Our Diners Club was actually the first to introduce a charge card in 1950 when one Diners Club executive forgot their wallet at a restaurant and couldn't pay. They thought, man, wouldn't it be great if I could pay for my meal without taking a wad of cash? This was truly life-changing and changed our industry forever. Credit cards provide a seamless way to purchase goods and services without carrying cash, making it more convenient for consumers. This was also a pivotal point where we actually do care about identity and authentication. This was the first time we actually had to care and see who that person was and are they the person authorized to make that transaction. Then we saw the rise of e-commerce, the online shopping boom. The growth of e-commerce has transformed how we pay, allowing for purchases from the comfort of our own home. With the rise of e-commerce, we're also shifting our focus for authentication. This was also the first time that we not only had to care about how we authenticate in person, but we also had to figure out a way to authenticate online, card not present. We relied on CVVs and address verifications to do that. Payments are continuing to evolve. Some of the current trends that we see with payments are mobile payment methods, local payment methods are dominating globally. According to Capital One, 30% of all transactions and nearly 50% of e-commerce transactions now involve a digital wallet. If we zoom in a little bit further, in Asia specifically, 60% of individuals have leveraged or utilized a local payment method or a digital wallet to purchase goods and services. We're also seeing the rise of contactless cards and payment systems. These have become mainstream in how we use credit cards. Consumers favor quick and seamless transaction. For me personally, I can't remember the last time I had to insert a card into a physical POS device. As changes in technology and payments occur, we believe that we also need to evolve, and our authentication mechanisms need to continue to evolve to protect the end consumer. There's been so many changes in payments, but we're also seeing changes in modern retail. In the last 100 years, retail primarily focused on a single channel model, where transactions only occur in physical stores. In the last 20 years, we see the rise of e-commerce create a multi-channel approach, allowing retailers to sell through various platforms, but still operating in silos. In the last 20 years, we have finally seen omni-channel approaches, where retail has shifted towards integrating online and offline experiences to create a seamless shopping journey for our customers. Today, payment channels are continuously evolving. We believe that the emergence of unified commerce is blending in various payment methods into a single payment system. This unified commerce provides consumers with a cohesive and flexible payment experience tailored for them. But what is unified commerce? Unified commerce integrates multiple sales channels, data, and system into one platform. For a customer, this integration translates to a convenient and seamless payment experience tailored exactly to their needs and preferences. A great example of this, I am a huge lover of coffee. Now, when I want to buy coffee, there's multiple ways of doing that. For example, I can order my coffee at my local coffee shop in person, pay with a mobile wallet, and let's say I also wanted to pick up a bag of beans to be shipped at home on a monthly basis. I can make that purchase and they'll deliver it to my home. Another example, as a consumer, I can purchase something online, and I can pre-order something online. I can decide to pay in person at the store, and then I'll get a QR code to pick up that order. Unified commerce is truly transforming and blending in what we know as card-present and card-not-present transactions. Unified commerce is great for the consumer. It fits their preferences, it tailors to what they need. But what about for the business, our merchants? Unified commerce provides businesses with a consolidated view of their customers regardless of the payment method used. Whether I decide to purchase in person or whether I decide to purchase online, that creates one singular customer identity. For the merchant, this is creating better customer conversions because you're translating sales from one channel to another. With a unified system, businesses can really understand their customer tastes and preferences by looking at payments across all interaction points. But I think the biggest benefit for unified commerce is that we're understanding our customer, but this data that we're getting is also instrumental in creating fraud detection models by looking at transactions beyond just in person and online. Overall, unified commerce has the opportunity to create a better experience for the consumer, for the business, and ultimately foster a more secure payment ecosystem. Unified commerce, in my opinion, is really blurring the lines between card-present and card-not-present transactions by merging them into a single payment channel. What traditionally is classified as card-present transactions can easily transition to a card-not-present transaction. In unified commerce, we believe that authentication and identity has only gotten more important and critical to the payment process. With unified commerce, we are shifting away from verifying the cardholder to focus on verifying the consumer authentication. A great example of this is that instead of using CVV and address verification to verify a consumer, we are now using other forms of technology to verify the person is who they say they are. But how are we doing this? We talked about how digital wallets have gained traction across the world and will continue to evolve. And that's because they're part of the story. When I use Apple Pay at a merchant, I am presenting Apple Pay as a payment method to use my credit card, but also authenticating using a fingerprint, biometrics, or PIN on my device. This is creating a customer identity, and we are authenticating you are who you say you are based on other factors that are not just your card details. Unified commerce creates an improved retail experience for both the customer and the business. But it also brings in a lot of data into the ecosystem. A childhood superhero, Spider-Man, once said, "With great power comes great responsibility." When you implement a unified commerce system, you have access to so much data, and there are some serious important security considerations to think about when doing so. Whitney will talk a little bit more about that.
Thank you, Johnny. So we've covered three main points so far. How payment transactions are increasingly taking place from what was traditional physical payment spaces to increasingly contactless environments. How unified commerce is basically converging card-present and card-not-present transactions. and how all these two things together are changing how we establish identity in transactions. Let's look a little bit about the security considerations that will take place. Oop. Back to one slide, please. Oh, actually, we'll with this one. Okay. Let's talk now about the security considerations that need to take place as a result of these changes in the industry. So, PAN is being replaced. Personal account numbers are inherently ephemeral, they're inherently static. And so as a result of this, there's a susceptibility to data breaches and fraudulent activities that is rendering them increasingly obsolete. As a result, the payment industry is strategically implementing advanced security paradigms such as tokenization, multi-factor authentication, and biometrics to improve security. Tokenization effectively substitutes sensitive cardholder data with cryptographically generated, non-sensitive tokens. This mechanism drastically mitigates the exposure to data compromise because even if it's intercepted, a token possesses no intrinsic value outside of a very specific scenario. Multi-factor authentication, or MFA, establishes a fortified access control framework by mandating the concurrent presentation of two or more distinct verification factors. For example, a transaction might require both a knowledge-based credential, like a password, and a possession-based credential, such as like a 6-digit numeric code. The architectural design of these types of verification significantly impede unauthorized account access by escalating the requisite number of compromised authentication factors. Finally, biometric authentication further augments security by leveraging unique physiological or behavioral attributes, such as fingerprint or face recognition. This methodology offers a high degree of user convenience, facilitating streamlined access while also establishing a barrier that is really difficult to replicate. Together, these technological advancements signify a pivotal progression in mitigating financial fraud. With the replacement of PAN, tokenization, multi-factor authentication, and the utilization of biometrics' inherent uniqueness, we're collectively establishing a more resilient and secure payment ecosystem, safeguarding both consumers and merchants. Now, this is also changing how we establish identity as a form of authentication. So, if we think about how identity is rapidly accelerating, the way that we establish identity is rapidly accelerating towards the use of mobile wallets, digital currencies, and increasingly sophisticated methods of digital identity verification. This is blurring the lines of, as what Johnny was talking about, how we consider both in-person and online transactions. So whereas back in the day, a physical card served as a primary proxy for a person in a payment scenario, now these digital e-commerce and in-person environments are both converging on the use of screen-based methods of identity verification. So if you think about tapping your phone or a watch at a point of sale terminal, it's very similar to what you would do on your phone for a card not present payment. These are all instances where the digital screen becomes the interface for identity authentication, both in person and online. This is a significant evolution from the early days where a physical card that is static, or when online, a CVV code, which is also static, was a primary authentication method. Today, multi-factor authentication tokens, biometrics, and digital wallets are becoming the norm, and these are all experienced through a digital interface. This leads us to a crucial realization that identity itself, verified and expressed through digital screens, is becoming a primary form of authentication. So we need to fundamentally rethink how we approach security and fraud as a result. The core question becomes, how can we enhance the security of our unified environments by leveraging more robust and screen-centric identity authentication strategies? So in a unified commerce environment, the landscape of fraud is evolving beyond traditional pan-centric attacks. So let's look at 4 key shifts here. We have tokenization fraud, account takeover, synthetic fraud, and digital payment channel exploitation. So tokenization fraud arises from improper token reuse by merchants or compromised tokenization platforms. They enable the creation or misuse of fraudulent tokens. With the reduced reliance on PANs, fraudsters are now, instead of stealing PAN, they're trying to take the entire account over. So this is done with credential stuffing, phishing, and social engineering. Compromised accounts facilitate unauthorized transactions or making settings changes without the need for stealing card details. Then we also have synthetic identity fraud, which involves the decreased need for traditional personal identification. And it's a rise of synthetic identities, which is a mixture of fake and real data. And this complicates identity verification and sometimes increases fraudulent transactions. And then finally, while the digital proliferation of payment channels is a wonderful thing, it also creates more endpoints where fraud can take place. Attackers exploit vulnerabilities in mobile apps, online stores, IoT devices, and these all present unique security challenges to consider. So, how do we design for these types of unified commerce environments? Perhaps not surprising, machine learning and AI are paramount. Tools like Stripe Radar utilize sophisticated algorithms to analyze real-time transaction data. This enables the identification of subtle patterns indicative of fraudulent behavior and flags deviations from typical user activity. This allows for proactive prevention and relies on continuous learning and adaptation of models to evolving fraud tactics. Secondly, behavioral analytics plays a crucial role. By tracking a user's purchasing patterns, login locations, and device usage, anomalies can be detected. For example, a sudden large purchase from a new device in a country that's unexpected could trigger an alert. This method leverages data intelligence to understand legitimate user habits and highlight suspicious deviations that can notify users or freeze accounts when detected suspicious activities occur. Thirdly, with enhanced authentication methods, as we discussed, like multi-factor authentication, it's essential to reduce account takeovers. This includes things like SMS verification, biometric authentication like your face scan on your phone, or integration with third-party verification services. This technical error adds a significant friction for fraudsters who want to attempt unauthorized access. And then finally, secure token management is critical for protecting sensitive data. Organizations must enforce strict access controls and manage their tokenized data. This involves ensuring that tokens are valid only in those specific transaction scenarios or contexts to prevent misuse. This technical detail ensures that even if data is compromised, the use for fraudsters is severely limited. All right, so how would a user employ all of these tactics in their environment? To give an example of how these methods can be used, we're going to take a look at a consumer or a merchant that will have on-store, online payments for their customers. PedalPay is a leading platform that works with nurseries in 8 global markets, revolutionizing the retail experience for its customers by integrating cutting-edge security technologies into its payment commerce environment. As customers transition seamlessly between online shopping, where they can buy seeds, bulbs, potted plants, and bouquets for delivery, as well as in-store shopping, PedalPay employs AI and machine learning to analyze transaction data in real time, identifying patterns and anomalies that take place so that commerce managers can swiftly respond to emerging threats and enhance security measures as needed. Furthermore, PedalPay has implemented SCA, strong customer authentication, and two-factor authentication in environments where SCA is not related. As user attempts to log in, they're prompted to verify their identity using a combination of their password and a one-time code. Additionally, not just for customers, but also for employees. Behind the scenes, secure token management replaces sensitive payment information with non-sensitive tokens, ensuring that customer data remains safe across all transactions, whether online or at the point of sale. As a result of these sophisticated measures, Pedal Pay doesn't just provide good payments to their customers, but they foster trust and security. In conclusion, we've journeyed through the dynamic evolution of payments and gained insight into the future of unified commerce. Unified commerce has fundamentally reshaped business operations by dissolving the boundaries between card-present and card-not-present transactions, forging a singular, complex global payment ecosystem. This convergence is driven by exciting digital interfaces, streamlined authentication, and innovative risk mitigation. The industry is focused on crafting merchant and consumer-friendly designs that prioritize simple yet secure payment experiences. However, this evolution is inherently matched by the advancement of fraud tactics, so we always have to think about how to enhance security measures. Additionally, we have the future of payments features a lot of new innovations such as agentic commerce with AI-powered systems initiating transactions autonomously and the increasing role of stablecoins for seamless global value transfer. And with the emergence of identity wallets, they will fundamentally alter how we establish personhood and authentication and the unified and increasingly digital commerce landscape. Thank you.
Thank you.